I don't know how I feel about it telling me that the recording is in progress. Let me see if I can get our link. The funny thing is that I had my Zoom link on our community. And now I don't see our Zoom link in there anymore. So I'm trying to find our link because no one is going to show up if there is no link. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Just a moment. Meeting. Sure, sure. Yeah. So funny. Yesterday, I also had a little computer mix up thing, and it was extremely embarrassing. I was trying to meet with my coach, and I was waiting somewhere and she was waiting somewhere, and we were just not waiting in the same place, in the same space. And it was just very strange. We ended up getting to talk with each other for a few minutes, but we had to reschedule. So today seems like, oh, I hope it's going to work. Today seems like it's going to be another one of those days as well. Oh, so hopefully someone is seeing me somewhere as I talk to myself for a little bit here. That's all right. Main thing is we will at least have a recording at the end, and I will just begin. There's even transcription. No. Okay. I'm going to start stopping to play around with this stuff and just begin. So it's now 4 minutes in. Welcome to the PS Sanctuary and PS Business Cafe. It is an absolute pleasure to have all of you new, beautiful people here in this space. And I want to let you know first, okay, Thursdays are my day to focus on inspiration for our businesses, for getting started, for feeling confident with what it is that we are doing. Tarot card readers, healers, psychics, mediums, etc. There's so many different ones of us out there. Um, because I know a lot of us, let's say, we're sensitive souls who are maybe just stepping into our power, realizing that we are powerful and we have this thing that we want to share with others. We would love to be able to allow financial flow, beautiful financial flow to move through our lives, doing what we love to do, our sharing our gifts with others. Yet there might be some obstacles before we get to that point where everything's just really flowing. So I know some of those points have to do a lot of times with our self confidence. in believing in ourselves, knowing that we are worth it to, for example, charge for our gifts or our service or our products as well. And I'm here to let you know, girl, guy, woman, you do it. You are allowed to do it. One of the most hilarious stories I have to help inspire us, and I always have to remember I love thinking about it, is it's a wild cat where someone had the idea of, well, the wild cat or wild animal, cat-like animal, it eats coffee beans. I love coffee. It eats coffee beans, and obviously it does not all go through the entire system of the animal. So we have, what comes out the system. Someone had the idea to use those coffee beans to create like bougie coffee from it. I think it's fermented and all of that, obviously, and all of that stuff. But it is a high class, expensive, pricey, scratch expensive, it's pricey, um, bougie coffee. And it does pretty well. So if people can make money with these special coffee beans, we sure as heck can make money sharing our talent, our goods, our services, our products. We can do it. But to get to the point today's Thursday, we focus on the business cafe. Tomorrow, Fridays, I like to focus on the energy, whatever energy is still sitting in our bodies that wants to be released, in our emotional body that wants to be released. We work on that together. And I think it will be, both of these days are really, Thursdays and Fridays are beautiful days to connect with each other, because we all know, are getting to realize again the importance of community, of feeling like we're not doing everything on our own. So it's Thursday's business, Fridays, energy and emotions. But for today, my notes for today, as I thought about what I would like to talk about today or bring up to the surface today, is we have this wish, if you are already an entrepreneur, if you are already your own boss, or you're just starting out, we have this wish, right, to be our own boss. Yet a lot of us, and I'm talking about a lot of us, meaning it's my own personal reflection that I am aware of, that I'm not the only one who goes through this. So being our own boss, but we forget to give ourselves the proper time off. So for me, I've been in this space for a little bit more than 10 years, on or off, on and off, because I've had part-time jobs. I have two young men. They're 15 and 17 years old. One has special needs. So things, run a little bit differently there. And I am a co-parent. I had life. Life was going on. But in the background, I was always trying to do my thing here, my energy work, and trying to inspire as many people as possible in whatever ways that I could in the online space with videos and posts and everything, almost on every platform. So when I had time off from my day job, part-time jobs, my mind was always busy. That is Monday through Sunday, every single day of the week. My mind and energy was always trying to work on my business. And I realized after a few years of doing it like that, of doing it like that, the hustle culture, which I'm sure many of us know, many of us may have grown up in it. After a few years of trying to do it like that, I realized, you know what? I know I've noticed quite a number of spiritual, heart-based entrepreneurs going through burnouts. I think I'm starting to realize why. We were not giving ourselves enough time to be off from that business side of our lives, myself included. And obviously, I'm not the only one who's been talking about this topic. We have nowadays the soft girl era or soft girl business, um, which I think is important because a part of our mm, collective is realizing this way, this hustling way, this being in that masculine energy kind of all the time of I have to do and I have to accomplish, I have to win, I have to succeed. It doesn't do us a lot of good. So there are some people who are able to function in that way for a very long time. I have several family members who are able to function in that way. And I was attempting to function as best as I could in this hustle way. I was attempting to be as successful as I could be with my spiritual work, with my energy work, with my intended to be heart-based work. But I was like social media, what do I need to post today? And researching um, what are the best ways to talk to my clients, to attract, magnetize my clients, or rather be attractive for my clients. But I was getting burnt out. So the soft girl era, soft girl um, businesses, I'm not sure if that's a saying as well nowadays. Um, I understand where this kind of change is coming from, and I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it can be very, very healthy for us. So I wrote out a whole thing, one page, other side of the page. And I would like to read it to you. I just wrote it before I hopped on the video. Being your own boss, my reflection for the day as I look out the window. You know the feeling of when you're working for someone else. Someone else is your boss. Someone else is the boss. They expect you to work to get your stuff done on certain days. The other days are your off days. These are the days where you don't need to think about your work. Your boss and yourself expect these off days to be your days. Your days to recharge, to re-nourish, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that does you good, whether it's spending time alone, time with friends, with your family and your pets, whatever. Yet, how many of us entrepreneurs find it challenging to give ourselves proper off days? We are our own bosses, but we sometimes need to really work on giving ourselves proper off time. This reflection is a reminder for us to consciously bring the balance to our lives, even as entrepreneurs. I'd love to hear what you all have encountered on your journey, no matter how long you've been doing your thing, whether you've been doing it for a while, whether you've just started off just recently. What have you noticed for yourself? Have you been able to give yourself that proper time off? Do you give yourself one day off in the week, or 2 days off, like Saturdays and Sundays? So for me, I am working on it. I am realizing the importance of being able to shut off, to give my mind that time off of thinking about, what do I want to post today? How should I get my content ready for the next week? And sorry, the dogs, or rather Minnie, is playing with her doggy toy, her favorite doggy toy. They're getting ready to go out for a walk, so they're really excited. So sorry if you hear that in the background. For me, I'm trying to give myself more structure, which is the reason why I've been called to work with the coach who I'm very excited about. Because I'm very aware that the structure I absolutely need. It's not my strong point, and that's okay. I have so many ideas. The energy flows in my mind, and all of the ideas would love to be kind of translated here into the physical. So it's a lot of excited energy, like, ooh, 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 ooh. But that is what also, if I don't kind of take control of it, can make me feel very, very nervous. Oh my goodness. So when I build and create the structure for my business, I will be able to be more in my feminine presence for myself, to nourish myself, for my family, for my friends, for the connections I have when I see people walking in the street and we have a quick conversation, or in the grocery store, especially for my clients and my students. That feminine presence is, that feminine energy is what wants to be shared with others. And right now, I'm doing my best. So, welcome to the journey um, to work on that and to integrate that. And I think, there's being an entrepreneur is also a journey of possible expansion. We on this journey are given the gift of confronting parts of ourselves where we may not have, or which we may not have been aware of before. And if we were aware of these parts before, we may not have expected it actually to show up in our business journey, but we can expand on that. We can grow through that. For example, with visibility, with showing up live in our chosen spaces, with sharing our message, like speaking our truth with others. There's absolutely the confrontation of possible confrontation of what do we feel about money? How do we feel with the idea of having a lot of money? Do we feel safe with it? Does money feel safe with us? Like, does money feel, if money were, as money is an energy as well, because everything is energy, right? If we think like that, that's how I believe. Does money actually feel safe in our presence? For me, I realized, you know what? There's an old belief inside of myself that came from like probably the age of 8 or 9 that money is just not going to stay here with me. That money is just going to magically disappear. Because when I was 8 or 9 years old, an event happened that impacted me until my 40s. Here I am, so many years later, and there that little sentence or that little belief was still kind of activated in me. And it can be something so simple as I'll share the story with you. What happened? We were in Bayonne, New Jersey, and I had gotten good grades. So my parents gave me $50. So that would be back in 1988 or 1989. That was a lot of money for a little young lady. $50. I felt so rich. I was like, I am now rich. I am going to buy everyone an ice cream because I was like, whew, so like, oh, all of this money and it filled my heart and I love my people. So I'm going to treat them to ice cream. And I bought everyone an ice cream, my family members. And I gave the money to the person behind the cash register or counter. I left the ice cream shop and I couldn't find my money anymore. And my dad was like, "PrisCilla, but where did you put the money? They gave you $50." And I'm like, I don't know where it is. I can't find it. It's just little girl, it just disappeared. freaking A. And I carried that for so many years. Like there were so many years where I just didn't believe that I was ever going to have a lot of money or so enough money, more than enough money. Yet I know several people, I have several family members who are able to do very, very well financially. And then I realized there has to be something. And that's when this memory that I just shared or story, it came up to me like, oh shoot, I was still hanging on to that. And started speaking to my little self, which is a way for myself personally, I love to work with my inner child, my past little self. Because, yeah, she was still scared that the money was just going to magically disappear. And then I realized also in me carrying this belief, money never, the energy of money, the essence of money also didn't believe that it was going to be very safe with me because if I was already expecting that it's just going to disappear, it's like, ooh, well, we don't need to stick around with her so much. So money obviously is a big, big topic for a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, for a lot of heart-based entrepreneurs. Um, we can work on it. It's it's possible. And I want to see you, me succeeding, but like in succeeding because we are being authentic, succeeding because we are we are ready to share, but we are also ready to receive wonderfully, abundantly. So, my lovelies, anything that I talked about today, rambled on about today, chatted about today, um, vibes with you, rings something in you, brings something up to the surface in you, let us know below. Share your thoughts, your feelings, um, because it's interesting for me to hear your feedback, what your thoughts and feelings are, but it may also help someone else who in the future hops on to watch this video and they're able to see the conversation that happens below it. So this is our Thursday chat. I'm wishing you all a beautiful Thursday, a beautiful rest of your week. I'm hoping that you are not as hot as we are here, which is the reason why there are no lights on because we are having a heat wave and we had to put all of the blinds down. We just have one little crack open so I can get some sunlight in here. But anyway, hope you're much cooler than I am. Maybe you have air conditioning or fans. Um, and I'll see you on the next one.